morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Welcome to another Office Hours Live. That's this is the second one this week. Hopefully we get one in on Saturday morning too, and we'll be doing good. They say 3 times it's a trend, you know what I mean? So today we're going to talk about interest rates, the Fed meeting, and how that affects you or us, how it affects us. I'm going to talk about home affordability, how to get in the game and make it affordable. It's expensive right now. Things are expensive. And we're going to talk about, because things are so expensive, how could you add value to yourself and increase your income? Yes, we're going to talk about free school this morning. Free school. Free school, free school. Hey, I'll get right back at you after the intro. Yes. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Good morning, Lonzo. Shout out to Lonzo. So first off, real quick, this is Gerard Gibson with the Gibson team at Coldwell Banker. All right. We are still offering free CMAs on your property. If you are a homeowner and you want to know the value of your property, text CMA to that number 203-951-6493, and me or somebody from my team will get at you and we'll get some information, exchange some information, and we'll get you out that free CMA as soon as we possibly can. If you are a first-time home buyer and you are looking to purchase a property, to get into this market, to get into this real estate game, text first-time home buyer to that number 203-951-6493, and me or somebody from my team will get at you, exchange some information, and we'll get you set up. All right. Investors, if you are looking to invest, I got a lot of first-time or what used to be first-time home buyers turning into investors, and that's another part of this discussion. But if you are looking to invest and want to have a conversation about investing and how you can invest in the real estate market and the real estate game, text invest to that phone number 203-951-6493, and me and my team will direct you. All right. So first of all, I don't watch the news. I don't like the news. There's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like, I'm wasting my time when I watch it. I'm missing 30 minutes out of my life because, I just watch the news. So I don't really watch the news. I do get email alerts to my phone for things that I care about or things that I feel like I need. I recommend y'all do the same. So with that being said, we had this conversation before about inflation and about prices skyrocketing like everywhere, not just in the real estate market, groceries, utilities, gas. Gas is starting to creep down a little bit though. I did pretty good at the gas station this week, but inflation, things are going up, and things have traditionally went up. Like nothing stays the same, as far as that goes. But it seems like recently, from I'd say, pre-pandemic time to now, like things have just been shooting up astronomically. Home prices, rents, groceries, all of those things. So the Fed, which is the government bank that controls interest rates and all that stuff, they meet every quarter, or I think they might meet every month, or I think it's every quarter, definitely. And they look at the economy. They, make their projections on where things are going to be. And sometimes they'll make changes like raising the interest rates. So they raise their interest rate, which makes the banks raise their interest rate because the banks borrow money from the Fed. All right. So when inflation was moving at a astronomical pace, they decided to raise the interest rates to kind of calm it down. All right. And listen, I am not a financial advisor, disclaimer, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a licensed real estate agent. But again, all of this is kind of connected. So I find myself, learning this stuff and trying to figure this stuff out. But Fed raised their rates, the bank has to raise their rates, which trickles down to you, the consumer. Your rates are gonna rise. So car loans, credit cards, anything that you have to borrow, your rates are gonna go up. So inflation's going up. So they said let's raise the rates to kind of calm inflation down. And that's what they did. So they look at these reports and decide on whether or not they're gonna lower rates or keep them the same, or whatever. So this last meeting, which was yesterday, um, everybody's, since October, especially us in the industry, even some the stock market investors as well, were predicting that the rates were gonna drop. And everybody was kind of waiting for this meeting. This is I think the first meeting of the year. And the rates were, we were hoping that the rates would drop by March. So Powell, who is in charge of that department, in the government, he's the one who is leading the way. Obviously, he probably has some, some people that he communicates with or whatever. But the report came out that they do not want to cut rates right now. The inflation has calmed down. The market is looking good, and blah 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 blah. So they are not going to cut rates right now. You can find this information. Like I said, I don't watch the news, but I got this article from CNBC. Came to an alert, and basically goes into some the things that he talked about, things that he spoke about, and why he wants to leave the rates the same and all that stuff. Yo, good morning, Jada. Good morning, Miss Sanchez. Thank you for checking in. Um, so yeah, this article goes into why and all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into it. Also, if you're on Instagram, I need you to check out this page right here. It's called Quarterly Chart. Search Quarterly Chart and follow them. It's one of those faceless social media channels or whatever pages. And I like the way they just give a lot of information straight to the point in the form of a reel. So the reels are, 1 minute or less, and they kind of give good information. This is what's helping me learn finance a little bit better and, stay in touch with, what's going on in the market. So I get my financial news from Quarterly Chart. A lot of the stuff a lot of the stuff that I have, confirmed or looked into is correct. So I don't have any reason to, think that it's like they're giving out bad information or whatever. Um, so I follow them to get, some of my financial news. So they were the ones who leaked it out last night, the new information from that Fed meeting. So and then I woke up this morning and I got, all of these email alerts about it because I have my phone set up that way. But anyways, so yes, they're right as of right now, they are not going to cut interest rates. And we've been saying as a real estate agent and a lot of my lenders and other folks that I talk to, we've been hoping that the rates were going to cut, but we knew, or we kind of figured, or we expected that if they cut rates, the interest rates would be lower. People would be able to afford the current housing prices, right? If they cut rates, buyers will get pre-approved for more money. All right. And they were saying, all of this time that they were going to cut the rates. The rates are cut. We were expecting 4 rate cuts in 2024, and especially as we get closer to election. And I'm not saying that's still not the case, but as of right now, they're not going to cut them. But if the rates were to drop and more buyers were able to afford housing, purchasing a home, I don't know. We don't know how that would affect prices, because regardless of interest rates and all of that stuff, supply and demand is always king. Like, supply and demand trumps everything, right? So our supply in Connecticut has always been low. Well, at least since I've been an agent, the supply has always been lower than what it needs to be based off of the demand of housing, right? We always have more buyers than we have supply. And then, since the pandemic, it's just everyday life now. Before it was like in the summertime, things would get busy, and the winter times it would calm down. Now it's all the way across the board. We in the winter months, and there's still tons of bidding wars out there right now. And when I say bidding wars, I mean there's multiple buyers putting offers in on one property, right? You can only pick one. Only one person can buy the house. So let's just say there's 10 offers in on one property. One person gets it. That's still 9 buyers, out there, looking for housing. Okay. And then on the buyer side, if you ask me, I think that number is constantly growing, especially with the rents increasing. The rents are increasing. We talked about this before for a number of different reasons, right? You have market value. And market value is basically just if a landlord has a rental property available and they see that the house down the street was rented out at a certain number, higher than what they were getting, then, okay, I could raise my rents because I know that that's what people are paying, right? So you got market value. Then you have the new investor, right? The new investor that's coming into the game. Multifamilies are like 350,000 and up, right? With 8%, 6%, whatever interest rate, right? So let's just say the mortgage on that property, on that multifamily house, is $3,000 or whatever. So now the new investor has to raise their rents in order to keep up with their monthly payment and budget. So, there's a number of different reasons why rents are being raised. And, also you got the seller that's selling, right? So a lot of these multifamilies is like old money, what I call old money. These people have been sitting on these properties probably for 10 years or more, right? And, they've been collecting just collecting the rent. You have tenants who've been locked into their rents. Like $1,500 used to be like max. Like at one point. I remember my first apartment, I think, was like 1,200 or something like that. 15 years ago or whatever. But those numbers are rapidly changing. Like, I think those days are behind us, unless something A, catastrophic happens, or B, the government, the state, or the federal government steps in and does something. I don't know what they can do. I don't even think that's a possibility. So, which brings me to my next point is we cannot sit around and hope and wait for things to get better, right? I think, and this is my personal opinion, I think that you have to be proactive when it comes to your life and your lifestyle, whatever it may be. Everybody's different, Everybody has different wants and needs. Everybody has different expectations of, what life means or what success means, and all of that, right? So we got to start being more proactive. And I'm talking about myself as well. We got to stop being more proactive, start being more proactive about what we want out of life. If it's a house, if it's a good paying job, if it's, travel, whatever, we are in a place right now where we got to go get it. We got to go get it. Affordability is, it's a wake up call for me. Like, I'm not trying to strike fear either. This is not a fear tactic. This is not any of that. This is really just looking around, looking at what it is, what we are dealing with, and how do we fix it? How do we fix it? We can only control what we can control. You can only control what you can control. So I think waiting around for interest rates to drop. Pierre, what's up, Pierre? Good morning, brother. Hope all is well, man. You still in the A? P, you got to come see us sometime, man. um, yeah, we can only control what we can control. We can't sit around and wait and hope, for something to happen. I think we got to be more proactive, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. So let's talk about the housing market. Let's talk about purchasing a home. the the real estate market has always traditionally appreciated, okay? Which is why there's such a demand for it, because people are like, I could either park my money in a high yield savings account, or I could park my money in real estate, right? Um, I just had a conversation with a guy, another agent, and I don't want, I'm not going to put him out there, but he told me a concept that he came up with a client, and it was a elderly person that needed to sell their home, two-story house. They couldn't, do the stairs anymore. The house was too big, whatever. And been there for a long time, 15, over 20 years, maybe 30 years, whatever it was. And they had about four or $500,000 in equity in their property, right? So, you create equity by the home prices going up, market values going up, and also paying down your mortgage. Value minus debt equals equity, right? So this lady sold her house, and then the question with sellers right now is the big thing. The reason why the inventory, part of the reason why the inventory is so low, is because sellers now have to get out of that comfort zone of being in the house that they were in for the past however many years, paying the mortgage payment that they were paying for the past however many years, to now being subject to what is happening now with the new pricing. So they came up with a creative strategy. And to some people, this might be a duh, like, like, yeah, but I uh never thought about it. Like, I can't say I didn't know about it, but I just never thought about putting the two together. But what they did was sold this lady's house. She had about 400,000 or 500,000 in equity. They took the equity, put it in a high yield savings account, which pays out about 5%, right? That 5% on that 500,000 pays this lady about $2,000 a month, which they were able to take that $2,000 and find her a rental until she can figure out her next move. She cashed out on the market because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know if the Fed is going to say, "Hey, let's raise the rents," or excuse me, raise the interest rates. So we don't know. So, and that's what's happening with a lot of people. The people that are selling, they're like, "Listen, I got to get it while it's good," and they're cashing out. So I thought that was genius. You know what I mean? And a lot of that information, a lot of that thought process is not passed down to everybody. You understand? A lot of people don't think like that, but it definitely added a couple of tricks to my tool bag. But um So that's one way. Take your equity, put it in an interest bearing, invest it. Reinvest your equity to the point where now it's coming back to you. So even on a small scale, if you had to do something like that, that's money that could potentially come off of your new mortgage, right? Multifamily investing, right? Buying 2 or more units, right? As a first time home buyer, you could get up to 4 units, right? Buying a multifamily property, you can live in one unit and have the other units pay a portion or if not all of your mortgage. Or you could be in a situation, if you buy it right and the numbers are right, you might be able to cash flow. Cash flow meaning you're making money every month off of a multifamily, right? So that's another way to make home buying affordable or home ownership affordable right now. Here's another one that you probably didn't know about is can I pull up that article? I think I spoke about it before. I'm not gonna pull it up, but you can look it up on the FHA site, Federal Housing Administration site. So basically, they approved ADUs. ADUs is an accessory dwelling unit. All right. So that means like a finished basement, in-law suite. Um, you can turn your garage into, an in-law suite / apartment or whatever, as long as it is okayed by your town. You can turn a portion of your house into an accessory dwelling unit and receive rental income from that. Right? So multifamilies again, 350,000 or better. Let's. I'm not even gonna say 350. I'm gonna say 400. Like multifamilies are crazy right now because of the demand, because everybody wants them, right? So the property values are going up, but there are some single family properties that you could get for 350 or less, right? And if your mortgage is 2,000, 2,500, or whatever it may be, you can turn a garage into an ADU, finish your basement, turn it into an ADU, and start receiving rental income. If that is the plan, if that's what you want to do, I just spoke to my lenders about it the other day, and they will even take the potential rental income and basically credit you 75% of that so that now you can afford more house if you need to, or that it might not even necessarily be more house, but you can get more money that way. All right, they're going to add 75% of the potential rent income to your employment income, to your job income, and that increases your borrowing amount. So it's not like we want to go out and just spend 400,000 just because, but you may need that. Uh that could be renovation money, right? So if you're pre-approved for 350, let's say your max pre-approval is 350. You find a house for, I'm just using round numbers, 300,000, right? The property needs some work. You can use that other 50,000 to fix the property up, right? Or build the ADU, build the accessory dwelling unit to start generating rental income. Lonzo, does it have to be family who rents an ADU like the garage? No, it does not. To my understanding, no, it does not. No, it does not. If you buy a house with an in-law suite, with a legal in-law suite, you don't have to put an in-law in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can rent it out to whoever you want, as long as it is a legal apartment, a legal dwelling, a legal dwelling, not illegal, a legal dwelling. And what do you need? What do you need to make it a legal dwelling is it's just got to be approved by the town, by the building department of the town. So they're going to have specs on what they feel, they're going to have specs on what it needs to be in order to qualify. All right. I sold a property in Hamden a while back. It's a funny story. And I was taking my client out to see these properties, and we saw a lot of property. We went to go see this house, and they liked the house. And I came back home to run my reports, run my numbers. I'm getting ready to do an offer, right? Now, I had a long day of showing. I had a long day of showing properties, right? It wasn't just them, it was a few clients. I was out all day. So I came home. I sat on the couch for a minute. Let me get my thoughts together. Cracked open a Corona real quick. And I watch HGTV, DIY network. So there was a show on the DIY network. And the show came on and it did like their B-roll. And it was like a B-roll shot of what I thought was Hamden High. You know, the top part, the steeple or whatever you call it at Hamden High. And I'm like, yo, that looks like Hamden. So I'm starting to watch, and then they pan to the house. It was called First Time Flippers is what it was. And it was a father and daughter, and they were renovating this house. And I'm looking at the house like, yo, that's the house that's what I'm about to write the offer on. And so I was able to sit there and watch them do the work that, that they were doing, of what is now that property. And so I called the agent and I'm like, listen, no, I didn't call the agent. Who did I call? I think I called the town, because the house itself was a 2-bedroom house. It was 2 bedrooms upstairs, and then it had a finished basement is what it was. It had a finished basement. So I looked at the tax records and I'm like, this says 2 bedrooms, but they're selling the house as a 4-bedroom. And the other 2 bedrooms are in the basement. So they were selling it. It was really a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. They're selling it as a 4-bedroom, 2 bath. So I'm looking at the tax records and I'm like, this only says 2 bedrooms. So I'm like, let me just call the town and see what's going on. So I called the town and, I gave them the address and I'm like, I just showed this house. This house has 4 bedrooms, has 2 bedrooms in the basement. And they said, yes, it's not a legal 4-bedroom. There's only a 2-bedroom house. And then this guy went off real quick. So he goes, there's only a 2-bedroom house. And we've been trying to get in touch with them because they finished that basement and they put a bathroom in or whatever. And it's not legal. Like, we're trying to catch up with them so we could get this rectified. So I went on to ask him. It was dying. I'm like, yo, what are the chances? But this guy, so then, I started asking him more questions. I'm like, well, what makes it legal? And he was like, the windows have to be big enough to fit a body through. You need what they call two forms of egress, meaning 2 entryways, right? Or two ways to access or get out in case of a fire. So the windows have to be big enough to fit a body through. He didn't give me exact dimensions, but I said, okay, there was a window in the basement with a window well, right? They dig down the side of the foundation. They put a little metal like well around the window, right? And then there was like gravel at the bottom for drainage, but there was a nice sized window down there. And then he said, the stairs from, upstairs from the main level has to be a certain width. And I was like, all right, that's different. That's different. Yo, what up, G? Yo, appreciate you, Lonzo. So yeah, the stairs had to be a certain width. So they have a criteria on what has to be done in order to make it a legal space. Whether you're using it as an ADU, in-law suite or whatever, or you just want to add more bedrooms or whatever, to your property, you can do that. But, in order for it to be legal, the building department has to put a stamp on it. But that was a funny story. That was trippy. I wound up calling my clients like, yo, your house is on TV right now. So we had a little laugh, and we wind up getting the house cheaper than what they were selling it for because it wasn't factual, right? It passed appraisal and all of that type stuff, and we were good. But I said all of that to say you can do that. You can, add an ADU to your property to help generate income to make it more affordable. That was a long-winded story. I hope y'all still with me. Hope y'all still with me. But prime example though, right? So we talked about multifamilies, and everybody does. A lot of first-time home buyers are like, listen, I want to buy a multifamily. I want to live in one unit and have the units pay my mortgage. And I could tell you right now, like realistically, let's be realistic. The numbers ain't the same as they used to be. They're catching up, but they're not like they used to be. So that spread is a little bit different. So you really gotta be in tune with your numbers in order to make that happen. Not impossible at all. Definitely doable. But just being realistic, if you could break even, if you could live in one unit and break even, like you're winning. You know what I mean? Or even if you could live in one unit and pay less of a mortgage than you are paying as rent, like you're kind of winning, like, you know what I mean? Because once you move out, for the, next level, once you move out, that apartment is now, the value of that apartment should take you over the hump or whatever. It all depends on the numbers. Know your numbers, right? We talk about that all the time. So multifamilies, ADUs, putting more cash down. How else? I just want to see if I'm missing anything. But there's a lot of different ways to make this affordable. To get in the game, like that's different. Like, yeah, there's down payment assistance, there's grants, there's all of that stuff to get in the game. But on a month-to-month basis, right? If you put $20,000 down on a house, your mortgage is going to be less than it would be if you did down payment assistance, like 100% financing or something like that, right? Because you're financing the whole thing as opposed to just financing, 80% of it or whatever, right? So putting more money down will definitely help with affordability as well. But you got to get in the game. You got to get in the game. There are, how can I say this? If you were a person that thought about buying a house within like the last 2 or 3 years, and for whatever reason you didn't, like you probably lost about 50,000 just from waiting. Like that's crazy if you think about it. And I say that because people that purchased homes 3 years ago have, developed equity because the market is rising, because it's up. So they probably made about 50,000 at the bare minimum. I don't think I have too many clients, as I'm doing these CMAs. If you want a CMA, hit me up. I'll give you a CMA on your property just so you can see where your equity is. But I like 50,000 is like the number right now. If you bought a house, anybody that bought a house 3 years ago or 2 to 3 years ago, comment in the chat if you know what your equity is. You don't have to put it. Just type equity. Just type equity. If you want to know, let me know. I'll tell you. Right? So, adding value to your home, paying down your mortgage, adding rental income from not just a multifamily, but even a single family can help you, right? There's something else that we can control. Something else I want to talk about. And so my son is, being recruited for college. Thank you, God. And in the process of, him being recruited, we had to do, some FAFSA stuff and all of that type stuff, try to, get all the paperwork done so he could go ahead and go to school next year. So in that process, the school, Hampton High, offered a service from a nonprofit organization. I can't remember the name of that organization, but the guy is based out of Gateway. And apparently, whatever this organization is, I'll get the name for you. But whatever this organization is, they are at all of the community colleges and state schools. I think they have offices, or they might control regions, or however it's broken down. Anyway, nonprofit organization, you don't have to pay them, and they help families and students do their FAFSA stuff, and they help find grants and scholarships to make college affordable, to help families out. So in the process of doing this, we had a conversation with the guy. He's like, hey, have you ever thought about going back to school? And I was like, yeah, I thought about it. And he's like, well, you could go to school for free, right? And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? Go to school for free? He said, yeah, we have a program where, you could go to school for free. So my wheels started turning. So we wind up leaving that meeting, and then we wind up going to another one. And then I started really drilling down. And so pause right there. There was a conversation going on Facebook on my boy's page, my boy Tyrell Reed, Mr. Wavy Photography, That's So Wavy podcast, right? My boy Ty. So Ty makes this post, and he goes, name a 9-to-5 job in Connecticut specifically right now that makes 25 plus an hour. And then I just had this conversation. I was just having this conversation with somebody else. I think it was a lender or somebody. And we were talking about yearly, your yearly pay, how much people make a year, right? And we were talking about like back in the day, like there was a point, I don't want to say back in the day, I just made myself sound so old just now. but there used to be a point where if you was making like $20 or $25 an hour, like you was balling. Like that's still good money. It's still decent money. But like we used to shoot for that, like yo, $20, $18 an hour. I remember I had some wild jobs like paying $18 an hour, $20 an hour, but like we was balling out of control with that. So now when you start talking about inflation and the prices of everything going up, that $20, $25 an hour range is like, is not as good as it used to be. Like it's okay, like it's a blessing that you got something, I get it, but based off of everything that's going on, eventually, it's gonna be tough, right? So I started thinking about the school, free school. I'm like, yo, are there careers that I can choose that I could go to school for, right? To better myself and add value to myself and make myself worth more than, my number, whatever that number is, right? How can I make more money and make myself more useful and more valuable to my business, to my family, to people that's around me? And I'm like, yo, I gotta go back to school. But anyways, Ty made this post, and then there was a discussion that came up, and then I just was like, yo, it's crazy you asked that. Like I'm just having this conversation or whatever. I'm like, did you know you could go to college for free? And then a lot of people, not a lot of people, a few people, one guy was like, yes, sir. Community colleges, you get a degree for free, nursing, manufacturing, radiology, dental hygienist, etc. And I'm like, yo, like that's crazy. And then some more people went on to say, listen, this information is not out there. Like, we need to know more about this or whatever. So that's why I figured I'd, get on this morning and kind of talk about that. I have the guy's number. Yo, my man Quez. I have the guy's number. And Quez, I'm glad you said that. Hold on, we're gonna talk about this, Quez. I have the guy's number, and I am going to talk more about it with him, and I am going to see if he is willing to come on and talk to the people about it, right? And it's called the PAC program. I can't find a direct website for it, but all of the state colleges website. This is ctstate.edu. They talk more about it. And they have some qualifications here. You have to be a Connecticut high school graduate, GED and homeschool student qualify. You have to be a first-time college student. I see. I heard that if you went to college before, you don't qualify, right? But if you let go of those credits or something like that, or you don't want to use those credits or something like that, you might still be able to qualify for this program, which is why I want to talk to the guy further. You got to complete your FAFSA. You could be part-time, full-time. You could be degree or certificate program, and you got to be remain in good academic standings. They have 12 locations, which is again probably all of the state schools. Register for 6 credits. So this is ctstate.edu, and you could get more information from there. My wife got the guy's card. She got it in a folder somewhere. So as soon as I get the card, I'm gonna put that out there, right? So this conversation is about to go somewhere, but I'm around for it, Quez. I'm gonna tell you why. So my boy Marquez, Quez is he invests in the stock market. Quez smart as hell. Me and Quez went to high school together. Like, that's my dog right there. So Quez said, it ain't HIT. People better start investing. Get off of that one income strategy. You are 100% right, bro. Like, you gotta have multiple streams of income. Like, I'm not doubting that at all. But where I wanted to go with this was, like, I remember, I think me and you had this conversation. A couple other people had this conversation on Facebook, and I worked most of my life. He said, I'm back. I worked, most of my life, a lot of customer service jobs, that type of stuff. I did not go to college. Okay. I graduated from Hampton High. I did not go to college, but I was smart in the sense of I'm always learning, though. Like, even in my business right now, if business is slow or I'm not doing anything or whatever, I got time out of my day where, I'm not that busy, I am learning. I'm telling you, ask anybody around me, ask anybody who know me. Like, I am constantly learning, yo. Between YouTube University, between wherever, yo, like these things right here, the information highway, I am constantly learning. I am constantly trying to better myself, and all of that stuff. I think through my my family, my upbringing, that I work hard. Like, I'm a hustler. I'm gonna go get it. Like, that's been me. That's how I move. But I realized that, and the conversation that was going on was, college. You hear people say it all the time. College is a scam. You go to school, you get a degree, and you come out with a $80,000 debt. We hear all of this stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put in chat if I'm right or wrong. We hear all of this stuff all the time. And I ain't gonna lie, like, I was one of those guys. Like, I'm like, yo, I made it this far off of not going to school, based upon my hustle, my willingness to learn, my drive, and this, that, and the third, right? But I can't lie. Now, and like I said, before I had the conversation with this guy, I was just like, I think I need to go back to school. And I'm gonna tell you why. There is, as much as I can learn, like, nothing's stopping me from learning. I'm never gonna stop, right? But I came to realize that there is a part of me and a part of my business that I'm kind of missing. Like, even, we talked about these interest rates. We talked about, economics, finance, like, there's certain pieces of the puzzle that I'm missing. And I'm like, yo, I need to, like, not only do I want to get the knowledge, but I also want the credential to say, yo, this is, this is what I am. Like this, like, you know what I mean? Like I could tell you all day, and and it's not about proving anything to anybody. It's really just about proving it to me. It's really just about me. Like this is what I want for myself. And I also want to line myself up to a point where if by chance real estate, doesn't work out for me in the long run or whatever the case may be, the backup plan, the dreaded backup plan. Boy, I hate that word, but like that's what it is. Like that's what I feel I want to do with my life, but also increasing my net worth at the same time. Right? So if I could go to school and get a degree in something, right? And increase my net worth, like why not? And for free. I don't even care if it's free or not. I'm going back either way. I made the decision. I'm going back. But increasing my net worth is what this is all about. Increasing your net worth is what this is all about. How do you increase your net worth? I had a conversation with with one of my bros, and bro was like, yo, you know, he's talking about how he doesn't like the job, how he doesn't like his job, but he goes every day and he doesn't like it. And it's like all I got out of that conversation was, okay, how could you, like, he feels like his job is kind of shitting on him or whatever. And I'm like, yo, how can you make yourself more valuable to them so that they don't shit on you? Now, this is something that, again, this is something that you control. This is something that I control for me, right? What are you learning? What skills are you developing? Are you adding to your tool belt in order to make yourself more valuable? Quest said is, let me see, is not a scam. One has a scholarship, or if they actually make enough to pay back the loan and be successful. The scam part is that the high number of people who don't work in the field they went to school for and is still in debt because of the student loan. Right. Right. But again, so I need the hoodie. Ty, you get the hoodie, Ty. Ty, I need that photo shoot, Ty. um, the situation you're describing is not a scam. Okay. I was just speaking in general of, some of the things that people say. You're absolutely right. I don't think it is either, bro. I don't think it's a scam either. But still though, Quez, like a lot of people do have that in their psychoanalysis. Not necessarily saying scam, but a lot of people are scared to go to college and scared to level up on that level because they're gonna come out with this bill, right? But like, don't you got to do some research, like, you know what I'm saying? Like before, like I developed a passion for real estate, but before I went full fledged and went full time, and I was driving trucks, and I got off that truck. Before I made that decision to do that, I researched the earning potential. And I reached out to some other people. I had a good support system coming into the real estate game. Yvette McNeil, who we spoke to the other day, Randy Thomas, who is the VP of lending at People's Bank. Um, boy, I had some good people around me that was like, my family that encouraged me. So I had people I could reach out to say, hey, listen, what is this like? What does this look like? Am I going to be able to do this? Right. And I got the answer, and then I dove in, you know what I'm saying? So, but I said all that to say, don't go to school just to go to school. And I think, Quez, part of what you're saying is, people are going to school and they're getting degrees. And listen, don't get me wrong. I think you should chase your passion. I think the best career that you could ever choose is one that you love, something that you don't mind getting up every day and doing. I tell people all the time that hit me up, and we're talking about careers and stuff like that. Like, what would you want to do? No, what will you? Hold on, how do I say it? What are you willing to get up and do every day for free? what are you willing to get up and do every single day for free? There might be good days and bad days in any career. I don't care what it is. Every day, I don't want to say every day, but we all, have experiences where we get up and go to work and we're just like, yo, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But what are you willing to get up and do every day for free? I think that is your career. Now, statistically, right, we could go to Indeed.com or all of these websites to see what's the earning potential, in that category or whatever. And then from there, you got to make the decision on if it's going to be profitable enough for you. Are you going to be able to maintain, a certain lifestyle? All of that stuff. You got to think about all of that, right? The reason why I chose real estate is because there was no ceiling. There was no ceiling. There was no, okay, you're gonna make 100,000 a year or whatever. Like, there was none of that. It was, bro, you're gonna make as much as you could handle, as much as you want to make. Like, so that's why I wind up going into real estate. And I'm not telling you to get into real estate, because you do got to have a stomach for this too. This is something that I'm willing to get up and do every day for free. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't bother me, but for certain people, the fact that there's no salary involved, right? You how they say it, you eat what you kill, So like, you got to be a hunter. Like, you got to be willing to take that, as far as the real estate market goes. But understanding the industry that you want to get into, understanding the earning potential and things like that, right? Make that decision, and then now you gotta, you might have an opportunity to where you could go to school for free and snatch up that degree, and start moving in that direction. Start moving in that direction. Again, all of this came from the fact that, forget about the interest rates, forget about inflation and all of that type stuff. Well, I guess we're still talking about inflation, but just in general, just the overall scope of things, prices are going up. Prices are going up. And, even, we talk about the real estate collapse in 2008, or the financial collapse in 2008. Like, that's like, these are people, right? People make mistakes, but there's so many provisions and laws and things that they put in place for that not to happen again. I'm not saying that there are, not other things that can cause a collapse, but like, why do we want to collapse? Like, I get investors, like, especially like my OG investors, right? My old school guys, they're so used to, they remember those days where you could go buy the 2-family, 3-family foreclosure for $20,000 and then fix it up and rent. Like, so I literally got people standing on the sideline right now, stacking their cash, just like, yo, soon as the market drops, I'm jumping in. We're gonna buy up everything. Yeah, all right, bro. You keep waiting there. like you keep waiting for that to happen. Like, I'm not a I'm not a economist. I'm not, that's not my wheelhouse. I'm just saying, again, like, let's be proactive. Let's take care of what we can control. What can you control about your financial future? Right? I had a conversation with somebody about budgeting. And it's like, okay, get a list of all of your bills, put all your bills together, and figure out how much does it cost for you to live a month? How much does it cost for you to live a year? Right? Based off of all of the things that you have. Okay, now how much money are you making? How much are you generating? All right. If you don't have enough for savings has to be a major category, right? And investing should be a major category, whether it's in real estate, in the stock market, whatever. um Outside of the obvious, outside of maintaining your household, outside of your family activities, the kids and the sports and all of that, like, you got a budget for all of that, right? So if those numbers don't line up, only two things could happen. Only two things could happen. Either you got to cut back on something or you got to increase the income. Or the third thing is just leave it the way it is. Right? So if the math ain't mathing, then we got to change up the math. So what can we control? We can control that we can make more income. Right? If you are a person that feels that, whatever your income is, and, you can't make any more money, right? You can't increase your net worth. You can't increase your yearly salary. You got to change your way of thinking. You can increase. You control that. You control that. But the problem, I don't want to say the problem, but what is what could be the problem? I hope I'm touching some people today. And this is not coming from a negative place. But trying to build, and to be quite honestly, like, I had to go through this process as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only speaking from what I went through, but and what I know that other people are going through. You know what I'm saying? But you control what you can control. You got to increase your net worth, your income. And if you are a person that feels that you can't, you got to change your way of thinking, because you can. You definitely can. I watched a podcast yesterday. This guy I follow on YouTube, and he says, you will be defined by your limits. You will be defined by your limits. So, and listen, I'm a football coach too. Like, my players know that, like, we're not saying I can't. There's no such thing as I can't. We got to figure out how. Let's figure out how. It's either yes, I can, and we're going to figure out how, but ain't no such thing as I can't. So I put that principle in my own life. There's no such thing as I can't. Yo, listen, I told you, I worked all my life in customer service. I drove tractor trailers for like 10 years. Who would have thought I would walk into the market of real estate? Like, who would have thought? And not only that, but like producing. Like, I had to believe in myself for that. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So, not bigging myself up, but I'm just saying you could do it too. You just got to change the way you think. So, we talked about school, going back to school. A lot of people, listen, I was horrible. I was horrible in school. I don't want to say I was horrible in school, but I didn't like it. I didn't like school, which was why I didn't go to college. And I hear, sometimes I hear my students, my players say this all the time, like, yo, I want to take a break. School ain't for me. And of course, I'm gonna give you some encouraging words, right? I'm gonna advise you to rethink that. But I also know that once you get out here and the math ain't mathing, you're gonna figure out that, yo, I need to go to school. And it's not too late. It's never too late. It's never too late to learn. It's never too late to increase your value, to increase your net worth. Like, not even, and forget about the money, yo. Just, increase your value, increase your knowledge. How could I be of benefit to the people around me? How could I be of benefit to the people in my household? How could I be of benefit to the people on my social media? I got to keep learning. And then from there, you will increase your net worth. But you can't stop learning. You can't stop learning. Increase your net worth, because things ain't getting no cheaper. That's where I'm gonna leave this one at. I hope y'all enjoyed this today. I went over a little bit. Nah, it was an hour because I started late. I hope y'all enjoyed that conversation. Listen, if y'all want to discuss this further, you could comment below. You could hit me up. I am always reachable. Let's talk about it. Like, I gotta talk about these things because of the business that I'm in. Like, you know what I mean? So, even if I was wrong about something and you want to check me, man, just like, I need the knowledge. I want to hear your opinions on both sides. So, just let me know how you feel about it. If you are a homeowner and you own a house and you don't know the value of your property, we are giving out free CMAs to homeowners, okay? Free CMAs, again, if you invest in the stock market, you open your Robinhood app or your whatever your brokerage app is, and you can see how your stock is doing. Your house shouldn't be no different. Your house shouldn't be any different. Your property shouldn't be any different. Know the values. If you own multiple properties, you need to know what the value is on all of them, man. So text CMA to that number 203-951-6493, and me or somebody on my team will reach out to you and we'll get that CMA prepared for you. Okay. And also, if you're a first-time home buyer, you looking to get in the game, minimum requirements, right? Minimum requirements. We talked about this before too. A minimum of a 620 credit score, right? Of course, higher is better, right? Minimum of 2 years on your job, and minimum of 3.5% down is probably what you're gonna need to get in the game. So if you have those things, or you're close to those things, or you need help getting to that point, just text first time home buyer to 203-591-6493. Me or somebody from my team will reach out to you and get you on that path. All right. And lastly, if you are looking to invest, you own a property already, you want to buy another property, or you don't own a property, but you have that investor mindset and you want to learn how to invest in real estate, just text invest to that number 203-951-6493, and we will hook you up. We'll get you going. I gotta have shout out to my man Nuke Rankins. Nuke is Samar. I think his page says Nuke. I don't want to put his government out there if he don't want it. But shout out to my man Samar Rankins. I'm so proud of this dude. He was I met him like 4 years ago through his mom, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna buy a house, and I want to keep buying houses, and this dude is doing his thing, man. And I'm gonna get him up here one day, and we're gonna talk about his experience and the empire that he's built and continuing to grow. Young dude from New Haven, just like us. He come from where we come from, and he is doing his thing, man. And I'm proud of him, and I just wanted to shout him out. But yeah, if you want to learn how to invest like Nuke, let us know. Let us know, man. We'll get you right. I'm gonna get out here. I gotta get my day going. I gotta make some phone calls, do some CMAs. I'll catch up with y'all later. Have a blessed day, and let's be intentional. Talk to y'all later.
You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.